I gotta warn you, you're doomed, 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 you're doomed, doomed.
Today, the members of the Science and Security Board moved the hands of the Doomsday Clock forward. We moved the clock forward the closest it has ever been to midnight. It is now 90 seconds to midnight.
You're doomed. You're all doomed.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show where we talk about the end of the world, the rise of technology, and the fall of humanity all in one breath. It's a crazy time to be alive, folks. The Doomsday Clock has just been moved to 90 seconds until midnight, signaling an impending global catastrophe. But don't you worry, because while the world may be falling apart, at least the crypto markets are showing signs of a possible new bull run. And to top it all off, our government is talking about raising the debt ceiling again, because you know, what's a little extra debt whenever the end is near? Today I've got all of that for you and more, so sit back, have a drink, and enjoy the end of the world in living color, right here on Mighty Mike. Looking at the daily chart for Bitcoin, you can see that we still are really up here in the overbought territory, and we do have a possible bearish divergence forming right here, although it is kind of hard to tell because we have been going almost pretty much straight up for the past couple weeks or so. Bitcoin could actually continue to jump up to about $25,000 before it does have a retracement, because whenever we do start to see pumps like this, there's a lot of short squeezes that happen, and that doesn't really give a lot of time for retracements. However, eventually we are absolutely going to have some kind of a retracement, and it could be as much as about 25%, because we do see that a lot during bull markets if this was one. I'm not saying that I think that there's a bull market beginning, but if you go back and look from the beginning of the previous bear market, you can see that we did have some significant pumps that were going pretty much nothing but straight up. And it might not look like much, but along the way we did have some retracements here, like this one, for example, being at about 18.5%. Then when we got super overextended here on the RSI, like it looks like we're starting to become right now, we had a significant dip that was about 33% before we actually came back down and pretty much retraced all of the gains from this pump in the middle of the bear market. In retrospect, this does look like it was just a relief rally in the bear market, but at the time it definitely would have looked like the beginning of the bull market. I'm not really saying either way if we are entering a bull market or if this is just a bear market rally, but I do believe that we have to be cautious because there could absolutely be more retracements before ultimately we do go back up for a new all-time high. As I was showing in the master plan chart yesterday, it does look like we're not supposed to hit another all-time high until next year, so this year we could actually have an accumulation phase with us making some nice relief rallies, but then giving up most of those gains and wiping out people who started to FOMO in while everybody decided that it was probably the beginning of the bull market right back here, which probably caused a lot of people to get wrecked and eventually capitulate at the wrong time right before the bull market actually kicked off. Like I said, I think it's too early to decide whether this is going to happen or not yet, but we should definitely be cautious because it could happen and we could see some retracement here, and you don't want to be the schmuck that sold at the bottom while everybody was getting ready and filling their bags to go back up to the moon. Looking here at the NUPL, or the net unrealized profit and loss, you can see that we have got down into the capitulation zone, but now we have spiked all the way up into hope and fear. This has happened a couple times in the past during bear markets, with us just peaking up into the hope and fear and then coming back down all the way back into capitulation again before ultimately going back to the upside for a bull market. In the last bear market, we got all the way up to belief and denial before we ultimately did come back down all the way to the capitulation zone. About a week ago, a lot of people were saying that Bitcoin could actually break its record for the number of consecutive green candles that it's put in a row. And I'm pretty sure it topped out at like 12 whenever the record was like 14 or something like that. Maybe it was even 15. And we almost got there, but not quite. But you know why we didn't get past that whenever the record was actually set? Because whenever we have straight up momentum like this, usually it is going to get overextended and we are going to have some kind of a retracement. I was absolutely expecting it to happen before we got over about $21,500. I thought we were going to come back down and retrace, turning this 200-day moving average into support before we could ultimately go back to the upside. But the longer we actually go straight up, the harder it's going to crash whenever we do have a retracement, and it might actually lose its momentum and not continue for another leg higher. If we do have a retracement here and find some support, that'll be a lot more healthy, and I think ultimately it'll send us to the upside for more gains and a more sustainable rally. None of this is really going to matter though in the long run, because the government is absolutely not done printing money, and they're probably going to continue debasing the dollar until it's totally gone from existence. Then I guess eventually Bitcoin will definitely pass $1 million, but it's not going to matter, because if $1 million is basically everybody's annual salary, then it's not going to matter if you are a millionaire. But while being a millionaire might not mean what it used to mean, it will definitely save you from a lot of grief if you are invested in cryptocurrency, because while the dollar is going down, that's definitely not where you want to have all of your net wealth in. Democrats are pushing to eliminate the debt ceiling completely, and that means that they could just print as much money and continue spending whatever they want to without taking any accountability. It does kind of seem like they might as well just do that anyway, since the debt ceiling is inevitably really limitless anyway. Every year they come together and they raise it again, and then they just spend all of that money expecting that it's going to get raised once more. But I think that if they got rid of the debt ceiling completely, then that would just take away the last little bit of resistance that they really have on their budgets, and this would just blow the roof right off of the national debt, sending us into a death spiral, and eventually this empire would collapse just like the Roman one did. Eventually it's going to happen because these people can't stop spending money, and they're all so corrupt that they can't even tell the truth about it. So while the sheep are all sleeping, these people are stealing their wealth right from under their mattress, and only the people that are paying attention are going to be invested in cryptocurrency, especially since cryptocurrency has taken such a beating over the past year or so. It really takes somebody who knows what's happening to keep invested and hold out for the long term. How many times have you heard people talk about cryptocurrency projects saying that it has trillions of coins and it's basically worthless? Well, look at this. The government is talking once again about printing $1 trillion coin. And this article says that it might be the least bad option. But this is absolutely a bad option, because debasing the currency like this is stupid as hell. And what does it really say about our currency if now you can hold $1 trillion on what used to be the size of a quarter? This is absolutely absurd, and if anything else was being printed by the trillions, then we would all say that it was just dirt and basically worthless. There's almost as many dollars as there are grains of sand on the earth. So why the hell would anybody want to trade with these things? People talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency saying that it's not real currency and that it shouldn't be spent, and nobody wants to spend it anyway. But why the hell does people want to spend dollars? Somebody explain this to me. And if all that's not enough for you, the ultimate inverse indicator had this to say.
Bitcoin spent the last couple of weeks bouncing off its lows. The whole crypto industrial complex is back in full gear, trying to entice people back in. I think that would be a huge mistake for you. For years, these people told us that Bitcoin was the perfect replacement for gold as an alternative asset. They said it was a great hedge against inflation in a world where central banks were printing money like crazy. But in reality, it wasn't a hedge against anything. It's a risk asset, not a currency, not a stable storehold of value. Imagine business owners trying to conduct transactions with shares of Facebook or Google. Hey, sold to you. It's ridiculous. They're too volatile. Bitcoin's no different. Few professional money managers want a piece of this stuff because it's like a ticking time bomb. It can be devastating.
Let me know in the comments. Do you guys think that dollars are worth anything? Or do you think that it's probably more sensible to have some currency where you know how many of them exist and you can see where all of it's being spent? Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, hey, I was just being chased by a bear. Watch out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell too, because I don't want you to miss out on any important updates. And check out this video. Oh crap, I gotta get out of here.